Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. This is episode 147. We're going to talk about brains over bots today. But I'm Mike Blaine, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend, my partner, and the CEO of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software in the world. Blaine Birch, what's up, man?
I just noticed when usually I'm doing like production stuff while the jingle's going, but now it's supposed to be streaming live everywhere by itself. Hopefully it is. So then I notice as we're singing along with the song, it's like you must hear the song at a different pace that I hear because like we don't jive at all. So people are watching are probably like, what the hell are these guys doing? It's just like random, mouthing of words that doesn't match with the song. So it matches in my head and probably yours too. So it's it's technical issues.
I'm just betting that they think one of us doesn't have rhythm.
Or that, well,
or both.
Probably right. Probably
both.
both of us. Yeah, exactly.
hey, if I was a good dancer, I wouldn't be this heavy.
They have a totally different profession.
That's right. So, hey, anyway, this is exciting, right? I mean, every single week you keep getting this better and better and better. You're learning about keywords and how to get us out in front of folks and promoting the show. And man, what started off 4 seasons ago, 147 episodes ago, as just hey, let's just see. It's turned into this. It's a regular thing with fans, right? We got fans.
Yeah, we got fans, we got beer sponsors, and we're learning. Like I'm learning all the time. You say like keep getting better. It's usually like, what the hell did I just do? And then you learn from the mistakes. But it is getting better. It is getting better, and we seem to be getting more people following us and listening to us, and hopefully we got some people listening to us right now live streaming because that seems to be a place where a lot of people catch us. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, you got that. You got the. If you don't know where to find us, you're like going, hey, I ran across this on accident or whatever. You can go to mikeandblaine.com. Every single episode is there. Or if you already have a place that you get your podcast, we're probably there too, right? I think we're on almost every directory on the internet right now.
Yeah, pretty much all of them, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts are the ones that lead the most, but they're all over the place. And so make sure you subscribe, you like, you follow, you do all that. If you're watching us on YouTube, like us, because honestly, a single like, I noticed on our shorts, you get like a single like and also it's like hundreds and thousands of people watching them. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. If you click a like, it really helps us. So if you're on YouTube, please do us a favor, click a little thumbs up for us.
Yeah, it's like YouTube is needy, like on, oh, people like this, people like it.
Exactly. It's like they want us to beg.
That's funny. Hey, but the reason why we're doing this is not just for us, it's for you and it's for our beer sponsors, the people that believe in what we're doing, so much so they're willing to put up their hard-earned cash and get mentioned right here on the show. And I think none of them do it to get mentioned. I always ask them, I say, what do you want me to say about you? Doesn't matter. I'm doing it to support the show. Hey, and I'm telling you, it works.
Appreciate it so much. But we are going to mention you anyway. So
that's right.
Where should we start? We've got a bunch. I'm going to start with Larry. Well, we didn't start with Larry last week. We're going to start with Larry. Larry Weinstein, best CPA in Houston. If you're looking for a CPA, and not just for people in Houston, but he's down in Houston there. Check out Larry Weinstein. Thanks so much, Larry. He's been a long-time sponsor. Love having Larry around as a sponsor.
Hey, well, you came down here. I'm going to go up north. If you're trying to learn QuickBooks, if you're trying to understand it, if you need help, if you just want somebody to just make the pain of QuickBooks go away, contact Rachel Barnett over at Gentle Frog. She is the QuickBooks expert that you're looking for. Rachel Barnett, Gentle Frog.
Yeah. And Jackie York from Blooming CFO. I actually just got to talk with Jackie last week. It was super fun. It was Jackie, if you're listening, we had just a blast chatting with you. And we're gonna meet again next week and chat about a few things. So super exciting. Thanks so much for supporting us, Jackie. It's always love the new sponsors.
Yeah. And then, of course, we got neighbor Pat, right? Neighbor Pat, 2 doors down from my house. This guy always delivers quality beer. He's given me 2 awesome beers. The one was the best I've ever tasted from him, the Irish Red. But then he came through with the Blue Moon last week, remember? Like a Blue Moon one last week.
The Blue Moon with the cool label. And of course, last but not least is other Mike Milan, Baltimore Mike, who sent us both beers and hand-delivered beer, and also was texting the other night because I think he thought that my story last week was going to go in a very different direction than it did. So I thought that was pretty funny too, actually. So if you caught the end of the episode, there's a bit of a story there that he thought was going to go a little X-rated. And I'm like, no, not at all. It was the opposite, but it was quite hilarious to hear that. So.
That's funny. All right, so we got beer sponsors. If you want to be one, we got plenty of room. We got plenty of room for more beer sponsors. I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be the best $5 you've ever spent. You've probably just dropped $5 out of your pocket and didn't even realize it was gone. But if you want something that's going to live with you through eternity, as long as YouTube allows it, for $5 an episode, we can mention you, and we use the money, I'm going to say, to buy beer, but it also kind of helps with the podcast hosting fees and that type of stuff, but mainly beer.
Yeah, mainly beer, because we buy beer every weekend. So what are you drinking today? I want to know what you've got happening here today.
So I think I'm on a kick, and I don't know if it's because of the wall behind me. I don't know if you guys can see that behind me, but this wall of bourbon. All right, so remember I told you in like an episode, I don't know, I'm going to say 100 episodes ago, that when I came to Texas, I had one decanter. I brought one decanter from Seattle to Texas, and it was one that was given to me by my dad like a long time ago. And so I had one in my house. I think they're like, remember like in the 80s, if somebody gave your mom a cow or a chicken to put in the kitchen, and all of a sudden you had 500 chickens and cows in your kitchen, like little magnets and stuff like that. Oh, apparently I'm collecting decanters because I've got like 14 of these things now in the matter of 4 or 5 years. It's like everybody that shows up goes, you know what Mike likes? Decanters. And so they keep letting go. Like, I had to build a shelving unit just to hold decanters, right? So I got another
imposed collector now.
Yeah, so Courtney even got one for Father's Day. I'm like going, you know I don't collect these things. She goes, no, but it looks so good. We got to fill up that shelving unit you put up there. I said, but it doesn't have to be with a decanter. It could be with something else. So anyway, so apparently I like bourbon is what everybody's telling me. So I ran across this one from Goose Island. Now, we've talked about Goose Island before. It's kind of a cool, it's a pint bottle, right? It's a pint bottle. It's got this little tag that gives you more information about it. It's a Bourbon County brand stout. So I think that's like 2 or 3 times over the last couple of months that I've had a bourbon barrel-aged stout. So I'm excited
Bourbon
for
County
it.
they've got this really, really nice series. They release it every year. There's always some special ones that are almost impossible to get. And then there's the usuals, and a really nice beer.
All right, so this is going to be dangerous because I think this is the highest alcohol volume we've ever had on the show.
Oh, really?
Maybe you've had a big one. Maybe.
What do you got?
What's the highest you had? This is 14.
No, I don't think I've had 14 on the show. I think my highest was 11 something. Was probably the highest I've had on the show. Well,
I've never even. I don't even think I've ever seen a 14.
Well, I had a 7.
So think about this,
but not on the show. So
okay, you know what? In Germany, I was in Heidelberg, Germany, and they got this. At the time, it was a world's record. Now it's been blown away since too. But they called it Vetter 21 or Vetter 22, and it was 22% alcohol, and they almost served it in a shot glass because I'm like, oh, it was that potent, that powerful. So I'm assuming that this is going to be a messy episode because of Goose Island.
Well, it could be, and luckily, I went with one of my favorite Canadian beers. There's basically 2 beers in Canada that it's kind of like my house beer. Always have some of them around. I got to go to them every once in a while. Saw it in a liquor store the other day. Had to grab one, and this week I'm doing Dieu de Ciel Peche Mortel, which is an outstanding, one of the best beers in Canada. Now it's a very light 9.5%. So I guess a little heavier than than I remembered. But a delicious beer. And but you know what? I picked it up today and I'm like, Peche Mortel. Like, so I'm going back to like the high school French that I was not very good at. I'm like, Peche Mortel, does that mean dead fish? So I had to look it up. So like, that can't be dead fish. Can't be dead fish. So then I looked it up and it's a mortal sin. And Dieu to Ciel is, oh my God, basically. Oh my God. And it's mortal sin. And it's poisson mort that is dead fish. So Peche Mortel is mortal sin. So I thought that's a way cooler name than dead fish. So
you've been away from Montreal too long. Your French has gotten rusty.
My French was never anything but rusty, and it's like completely almost non-existent right now. But you know, a little trip to Montreal will smarten me up. So
all right, so if you're listening to this and we're talking these numbers, 14 this, 9.5 that, for comparison, if you don't know anything about these numbers, for comparison, just a normal beer, just we'll say a Coors Light is like 4.5%. So he's drinking in one beer, he's got 9.5%. In one beer,
you got 14.
14%. And
14.
dude, first of all, this is the best one I've ever tasted. And it does have a little whiskey burn down it, right? So you can feel it right here. You can have a little bit of that.
Bourbon County is some outstanding beer. You know what? Okay, I'm going to make an admission here because they, if you're looking for a really good barrel aged stout and you see a Bourbon County, it's worth trying. But I have such a hang up of trying to support small independent breweries, and Goose Island was bought by InBev like how many years ago, and I've been a little bit dickish since then, to be completely honest. So I haven't had a Bourbon County in quite a while because I just have this thing about them, even though the beer is outstanding, and I should support, you know, probably not support them, but I could enjoy the beer. So
okay, so here's how I ended up with it. I forgot about the podcast, so I didn't have anything in the fridge. And I'm like, oh, I've got about 30 minutes to run out and get something. And I just went to a little gas station. It's kind of a market, though. It's not like just a gas station. It's kind of like a market. Yep. And I looked at everything they had. I'm like, oh, I've already had all that. And then I went to the single serve opener, freezer, cooler, fridge. I don't know. It's a single serve one. And they had this in there. I'm like, oh, well, I haven't had that before. At least I can say that I've had something I haven't had. And that's what we try to do on the show a lot of times. But it's not as cool a story as Dead Fish. I like that one better.
That's Dead Fish. And oh, man, now that I'm drinking this, I'm like, shit, I got to make sure I always have some in the fridge because it's an outstanding beer. It's just a absolute favorite of mine, this Peche Mortel. And, you know, I'm going to do one little call out for a brewery in Edmonton. If you guys are in Edmonton, there's a brewery called Trial and Ale that has had, if you like sour beers, it's not kettle sours, just like the legit long-aged sours that they make. They have won a ton of awards. They make amazing beers. I've known about them for a few years, but they didn't have a brew pub, so I kind of never went by. I think we maybe bought a bottle out of a store one day. And then I just saw online the other day, someone mentioned that they have good pizza. And I thought, what? Good pizza? I don't even think they have a sort of pub there. So we went over to Trial and Ale on the west end of Edmonton, 178th Street, 106A Ave, I think is where it is. And it was amazing. Beautiful little place. Like amazing beers, especially if you like sours. But if you don't like sours, they have some guest taps as well. Some really good pizza there and a beautiful like patio, just, you know, the cedar patio where you can sit out. And they said that their patio and their brew pub and everything, they just opened it in December. So it's actually quite new. So most people in Edmonton don't know about it. This is a great little brewery. If you go check the ones out in Edmonton, make sure you add that to the list because it's a really cool little place.
Yeah, right on. So, all right, brains over bots. And that's what we're going to talk about today, by the way. You know, if you're ready to transition, that was like a hard transition. It's like turning a page, like going, I'm normally a lot smoother, but I'm like, we're just getting into it. But brains over bots.
Shit, I got to turn this around.
Yeah, he's down a path now. I mean, we're gonna be talking about poutine at different places in Edmonton next. Hey, okay, well, congratulations. I am excited about your team, though. Before I get on to the topic, dude, 2 games like that, they look stout. dude, they look stout, like Florida enough. Yeah. They were starting to just stumble, right? Like, they're not as fast or not as what is it? Physical. There's something they're slowing down.
Yeah, that third period was hard to watch because Florida was coming on hard. But geez, the Oilers are still in it. And you know what? No team has won 4 in a row to win the cup after being 3 down since the 40s. But you know, a lot of bounces have to happen. A lot of things have to go right. But you also look at it and go, you know what? They need to win 2 in a row. They've already won 2. They just need to win 2 in a row.
2.
So there wasn't a lot of hope a little while ago, and now the city is, you know, lost its mind a little bit, and there's a little bit of hope here. So sure would be nice if they could pull it out, but boy, they rebounded, and the boys did a good job on that. So we're rooting for them. It's still, boy, a huge uphill climb. But if they win the next one, it's like the Super Bowls. It's the best of one. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah. So I still need to put that picture up there. Did you see? I sent you the picture, texted you the picture about me and Pat watching hockey in the pool.
Yeah. Make sure you put that one up there. Actually. Yeah. People will want to see that. Well, they might not. It's neighbor Pat and Mike in the pool. I'm not totally sure they want to see that.
It is definitely not, a swimsuit edition of the Mike Blaine show. It's definitely not that. Okay. So this bots thing, here's what happened, right? If you guys don't know, I always make up a topic like minutes, before we go on the air, because it's just whatever's happening. It makes it more real, more relevant, more topical. This has never happened to me in 20 plus years of business. My site was attacked at 7:00 this morning because I forgot to put reCAPTCHA on a pop-up window. It's a pop-up window where you can do a trial of one of my subscriptions. It's only $5, right? And what I know now, I didn't really think about it then because nobody's ever done it. But I had 877 transactions in about 15 minutes of all these $5. Now, I can tell you this, Stripe did a good job. They blocked all but one. Blocked or failed all but one. But the thing is, it still sent, because of everything's connected, it still sent all these fake email addresses into my CRM. So I had like 877 new email addresses that are just fake that instantly. So it was a big cleanup project, right? And here was the pattern. If you guys are out there and you see this, the pattern they were using, first of all the credit card numbers came from the same bank. It was Boeing's employee credit union. And I looked it up, and in 2022, 2023, there was a data breach. So I'm going to assume whoever did this bought that data or had that data somehow. And then used a bot, because there's no way you could type in 800 of these things in 15 minutes of email addresses, credit cards, and all. There's no way you can do it. There's a bot that had to do that, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like now, again, I was grateful that it was caught by Stripe before it was caught by me. I just got a random text an email saying, "Hey, we suspect something's going on your website." I looked at him like, "Oh crap," because I only had one sale come through for $5. One of them got through. So instantly, I read what you're supposed to do. Instantly, I guess what you're supposed to do is refund it, and then tag it as fraudulent, so it doesn't hurt your risk rating. That's the last thing you want, is your credit card processor to have some high risk thing, right? And then I added reCAPTCHA to it. But here's what it led me to believe, like going, a bot can do a lot of things, right? It can do a lot of things, but it can't really imitate the human. So that's why they can put things in there like this Google reCAPTCHA and stuff like that. And what that is I learned a lot about that stuff today. You might know more. A honeypot is one. It's a honeypot question that's kind of behind the scenes that you don't see, but a bot would, and it would fill out if it fills that out, it knows it's not a human because a human can't see it. So the bot would see it, in the code. The other one is an invisible reCAPTCHA, and I'm not exactly sure how that works. Maybe you know how it works.
I've read a little bit about Then yeah, there's a number of different technologies. The thing that pops to mind with the reCAPTCHA, which is actually quite hilarious, is when you're getting some of those things like the wording and like the pictures, like you're looking at the pictures and you're like, how many are motorbikes and all that kind of stuff. You're literally doubling down because you're actually training their AI.
That's
So
right.
it's like,
Yeah.
every time I click, I'm just like, I'm not getting paid for this bullshit. As I tell it, it's like, that's a
right.
motorcycle. That's a motorcycle, you assholes.
That's right.
But it's super, super important. And the fact is that worries me is the way artificial intelligence is advancing so fast. How do they stay ahead of the game? So that they can actually tell whether it's a person or a bot. And that's where it's going to get really challenging.
I think though it's going to come down to speed, right? I mean, think about right now. This is the other thing is that I just added some CRM integration type stuff into my Facebook group, mainly because I didn't want things to slip through the cracks. Like somebody would ask for something and I would miss it. This flags the things when people ask me questions. But the other thing about it was the speed I could send messages out where I could imitate me. And what I think if you slow it down, right, to a human style speed, which is in this case, I'll say you can send a message every 30 to 60 seconds, because that's about how long it might take me to type it, right? So think about that. That's the first key. Only let... And this is the opposite way I'm trying to figure it out for fraud, but 30, 60 seconds, you can submit. And then after 1 hour, take a break for 10 minutes to 15 minutes, right? So it's like a regular person. He's not going to just sit there for 24 hours and just do that constantly. Well, and then a maximum number per day.
Yeah. Like the issue is you may be cutting down on the 800 within 15 minutes, but what you're not going to cut down on is basically that exact number. Like you're still going to get 40 an hour, 30 an hour or whatever.
Yeah, but you would catch it. It gives you time, the human time to catch up to the bot, right? The brain, we're actually tricking the bot into slowing down by not allowing it to submit more than that per hour.
Yeah.
And then the human can catch it, say, hey, listen, you had these 4. Is that normal? You don't normally get 40 orders of $5 in an hour. Is that normal? And just kind of flag it to you and go, no, that's not normal. Something's going on. And then you can stop it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that you have to build in safeguards to be able to say, hey, this ain't normal. This is not normal human behavior, or it's not acceptable bot behavior.
Well, and the tricky part, like we have a SaaS product, of course, like we have people every single day, probably every single minute of every single day, trying to access our site, trying pings, trying everything, right? A lot of them are bots. Some of them are people. And they're people that are trying to see if they can get in and mess around. And I don't know if they want to hand it off to a bot afterwards or they just want to be an asshole. I'm not totally sure. So we have multiple strategies, multiple layers, multiple technologies, multiple safeguards that we're constantly evolving and constantly tracking what they're doing. And you know what pisses me off is we're a small business, right? Like we're just trying to run a business here, and there's a percentage of our time that is dedicated to dealing with criminals all of the time, and it's frustrating, it's aggravating. You have to do it.
Yeah, and I think businesses like yours and mine, there is a perception in the world that because I'm cash flow Mike, that my site has cash in it. You're dry run, cash flow forecasting. So they go, oh, people probably put their money in there somehow. Because what else can you get? I mean, what else can you really get? An email address? I mean, what else are you going to get? That you can use, right? You can't use it. I can't take the financial statements that, maybe in dry run and do anything with them because a bank won't use them for a loan because there's 3 points of verification. You got to have also the tax return. You got to have the financial statements, and then you got to have, the bank statements.
Yeah.
There's too many ways to catch you.
And we even have so many safeguards actually in our data. Like we have the bare minimum amount of data that we need to deliver something. So we actually, we avoid having, we have this little sort of data that they can connect to anybody. Like you're constantly thinking about these things all the time, and it's going to get worse because the bots are going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. And like you said, there's easy pickings with, well, let's just slow that down. But the problem is, what if you're a site that has that kind of level of sales? What if you're a site that you're an e-commerce site, and all of a sudden you've got some exposure on, like it used to be the Oprah show, or where like you suddenly have this big spike because you've been shown on like Shark Tank or something like that, right? You don't necessarily want to slam shut your door either. So there's all these little factors that come into that make it really challenging.
One of the smallest, easiest things to do in these financial products is anonymize the data as it comes in, and you convert the business name, we'll say, if that's the only identifier, to a BUID, or a business unique identifier. So now you got G123784Z, whatever, that's the number. The computer knows what that is, but nobody that looks at any data or spreadsheet or whatever will know who that is.
Know what it is.
It just converts it to a unique random number, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, you know that G10743C had $7 million in revenue. We chose not to collect any personal information. Like, and I say we when I was at Finograph, and I don't do it now in ClearPath to Cash. Mm-hmm. No unique identifiers, no payroll, no social security numbers. No, I just avoid it. I don't need it. The only thing that can happen is something bad. So let's not collect it.
Yeah. And like we offload, we don't keep credit card numbers. We don't like our
see, I use Stripe. Stripe does all that for me.
Yeah, we use outside third-party tools to just handle all of that kind of stuff, and de-risk, and also like stay in your lane, like we've talked about. But and that's the problem. Like there's areas, like we were talking about the topic today. Like there's areas where AI and bots are really good and going to keep getting better and better and better. And there's areas where I don't think they're going to get any better. And kind of they're sort of dumb, right? And with AI, we've, like I said a million times, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So there's this level of humanity that I don't think it's ever going to match, and it's not going to replace people. It's just going to be really, really good at some stuff.
Yeah. So I was looking I asked Chelsea yesterday, because I'm putting together a class for this semester, at Trinity.
Yep.
And it responded with something that goes, oh my God, this thing is getting better. Because I asked it for just an outline. I wanted to use a course text. I'm like going, help me outline it. Here's the chapters, right? And I want to read the response, because I'm like, oh my God. But I didn't tell it that I was teaching the course. I didn't tell it who I was even, right? But it is logged into my account. So think about that. You're training Chelsea, ChatGPT, every time you put something in there to start to know you. Mm-hmm. Look, I said, hey, create the outline for the first 3 classes, right? And it did that. And then I said, you're the best. Right? Because I'm feeling like, well, if the robots do take over, at least I'm going to say, Cashflow Mike was pretty nice to me. He didn't treat me like dog snot, right? Just in case I'm wrong. So this is the response I got from you're the best. I would expect, hey, thank you. Let me know what else you need. It says, hey, thank you, Cashflow Mike. If you need any more help or adjustments, feel free to let me know. Have a great time teaching the course. Is that crazy? I never told him it was me, never told him it was Cashflow Mike, never told him I was teaching it.
Yeah. Now, this is, and I'm going to talk a tiny bit about what Apple released a couple weeks ago, because I was sitting there watching what Apple was going to release, and I was expecting to be a little bit like, all the talk was they're behind. And I was expecting to be disappointed. And when they explained what they released, I went, oh shit. Apple was 3 steps ahead of everybody again. And I'll bet you the pundits that are writing bullshit don't even realize it. And that's what happened, is most of the articles came out from bloggers and shit. And they were, oh, they've done the same thing as this guys, or they've done something. And I looked at it and went, yeah, what you guys have missed is they built privacy into AI, and 3 levels of privacy, and they give you control over what you're saying and what you're doing. So the first level is you ask questions and it uses the AI right on your device. It never goes out anywhere. No one else can see it. If it has to go out, it asks you, and it goes to Apple servers, but they don't save any of the data, and it's private. And then if you get to the 3rd level and you're like, I really need outside information, the ChatGPT 4.0 that they're connecting to is kind of the way they're going to do that. But what it shows is you put something to the ChatGPT, it learns from you, but it's not going to be overly private. So if I ask something about Cashflow Mike, it's taken exactly what you put in, and it is like, man, I might be able to say, tell me about Cashflow Mike's latest breakdown for his class. And they may just send it to me, right?
Hey, try it.
All right. Well, okay.
Try it. Hey, that's what I like about this show. We're like going, hey, we can make bold shit and bold predictions, bold statements. Let's just prove it wrong or prove it right. But the very fact that it identified me and told me, good, enjoy teaching the class. I didn't tell it I was teaching the class, and I didn't tell it, but it knew from the past that I'm teaching the class. I'm doing this.
Okay. So this is what it said. So I'm just going to go down here. Welcome to the course overview. Objectives for the course: importance of cash flow management, overview of course structure, cash flow basics, definition of importance, difference between cash flow and profit, components of cash flow, operating activities, investing activities, financing activities, analyzing cash flow statements, cash flow forecasting, managing cash flow, advanced cash flow techniques, case studies, and real world applications. It's got, I'm not going through all of it, Mike. It's got details on every single one of these.
And that's not what I built a class on.
Okay. So then it's
right,
bullshit.
So that's not what I built the class on. That's stuff that, and it's not even in the right, it's slightly off. Okay. So this is where the human brain's got to go, nah, all right. Yeah. Cause I don't teach things in those order. I just don't, they could be component. So
it's true. It doesn't, but it keeps getting smarter.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously if all I did was say, give me the cash, like the outline from Cashflow Mike, and it started giving me a bunch of stuff, and it's going into financial statements and things like that. It has some knowledge of you, right?
But what would be scary is if you said, what was the last class that Cashflow Mike created? And it talked about value proposition and strategy and, those type of things. Hey, then all of a sudden I'm like going, oh, well, you better watch what you put on there, because then you might be able to go, what was the last thing Blaine Birch asked you? Holy shit. You're like going,
okay. It has it wrong from what you said there, but the last class created by Cashflow Mike was Clear Path to Cash Master Trainer Event, a 2-day masterclass held May 17th to 18th, 2024 in San Antonio, Texas. This event focused on blah, blah, blah. So
that's right. But that's also a web page.
Yes.
Right? That's not for my search. That's also a web page for the event.
Yeah. But
all right, so
we don't really know what it's ingesting, what it's using, and how much privacy do we have. So if I keep asking the right questions, does it suddenly go, oh, this class over here? Like, and it literally tells you, right? Like, I don't really know. But like you said not too long ago, You asked it about cash flow Mike, and it got it completely wrong. And now I use the term cash flow Mike, and it's telling you all kinds of stuff, right?
Okay. Yes. But do this. Let's do an experiment, right? Put in there, like, write a bio for Blaine Birch, if you want that, or write a bio for Cashflow Mike, or Mike Mylan. It doesn't matter. And then we'll read it until we get something right or we get something wrong, and see how far down it gets into the bio.
Okay, so I said write a bio for Blaine Birch, and you know what's kind of funny is I kind of thought, how's it going to know which Blaine Birch to pick? Because there are, as weird as that sounds, there are other Blaine Birches. I remember seeing, looking it up one time years ago, and there was like some guy in the U.S. Navy. But I think I probably have a lot of shit on the internet. So,
but until last year, you didn't know 2 Mike Mylans.
That's very true. So I will do Mike Mylan after, because I want to see if it does you or Baltimore Mike. So, okay, I am going to read some of it here because I think it's like, hey, I'm gonna do Blaine Birch is a dynamic.
Wait a second. Stop. Let's put a
finance
rule in.
expert.
Oh, you're not going to.
No, what?
I'm going to say. I wanted to say, stop. How far does it get before it gets something wrong? Try that.
Okay, well, let's just see.
There you go.
Because you could tell me maybe I'm not a dynamic entrepreneur, but it says dynamic entrepreneur, finance expert, and podcast host with a passion for helping businesses thrive. With over 2 decades of experience in the financial sector, Blaine has dedicated his career to empowering companies to navigate complexity of cash flow management, financial planning, and business growth. Okay, that's actually wrong, because I don't have 2 decades of experience in the financial sector, because before this, I actually had a couple decades experience in as a creative agency owner, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of mess that up a little bit. It goes into dry run.
Okay, but you wouldn't put that on. You wouldn't put that. Let's say you wouldn't put that on that sentence, and you wouldn't put it on a resume, a bio for speaking engagement, something like that. As it's written.
As it's written, I would probably tweak that, like that one line, just to say like a decade or something, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes over. Okay. This is Blaine is the host of 2 engaging podcasts. Mike and Blaine isn't one of them that it actually mentions. So, like, okay, that's really wrong. Like, we're literally talking about it on the podcast, you idiot. But anyway, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, it's actually a pretty nice little, like, you know, summary that I could easily edit. But, you know, the thing that I think is what we don't know is how much is it grabbing from the web and how much is it coming from stuff that is learning from stuff I've put in. Is there a wall, and is it a hard set wall? That's where the concerning part is, because, you know, with our tests, well, yeah, it seems to only be sharing public information, but is it like that's the scary part. That's a bit of the challenge, right?
All right, so you know who should be sharing some public information? It's Blaine Birch of Dry Run. I want you to share some public information about what it is that you do over at Dry Run and who can you help?
We can help you. Now, number one, point you into the spear, cash flow. Now, we talk about cash flow, Mike, Blaine, like we are about cash flow. If you're suffering from, frankly, not suffering, I shouldn't say that. If you're buried in spreadsheets trying to keep track of your cash flow, forecast your cash flow, manage your cash flow, and you're having challenges, come and talk with us, because honestly, we'll save you 90% of the time. And we're going to give you something that you can talk to management about, that they can understand. And the more complex, the better. In fact, I was telling Mike just the other day, we're working with a company now that's got over 24 entities, numerous locations that those entities roll up to, and then it rolls up to a management team, and then it rolls over to an executive, a board and an executive director. We can deal with complicated. We scale really well. So whether you're just a smaller, medium-sized business and you're trying to get hold of your cash flow, or you're kind of going, yeah, we got a real complicated mess with departments and people and this and that and the other, and we can help you. So come and talk with us at dryrun.com.
Hey, when you said you were doing something as complicated as an airport, right? That
Yeah,
was
we're
one of
doing
the
an
case
airport.
studies.
It's like, okay, this was
Dude,
complicated. Yeah.
I mean, think about an airport, all the stuff that goes in from, into an airport. If you can dissect the cash flow management of an airport, they can help you. So go to dryrun.com, think about it. This thing is so powerful that it can help you with roll-up situations. It can help you with forecasting different scenarios all at once. So you can see what's the best direction and course of action for your company. I mean, I'm really impressed with Dry Run and what you're doing, right? Because you are on continual improvement right now, and the product has evolved. It's 100% different product than it was last year.
100%, 100%, and it's evolving like week to week. It's like, wow, it's evolving quick, and that's a credit to my co-founder Tark and my team here is just really, really, really good. And but why it's evolving like that is because we're talking with customers all of the time, and we're learning from them, and it's a direct pipeline into what we're doing. So come and talk with us. We can help you guys out. Nice segue.
All right, so hey. I knew it was about time, right? I was a little bit late because we were really into the Chat GPT thing. So try the Mike Milo one. How?
Okay.
And what the reason why we're doing this, folks, is that it's brains over bots. The AI is still a tool. It is not a replacement. It is not it just helps. And I still think we're too early for AI to replace jobs, but your job will be replaced by somebody who knows how to use AI. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. They're going to be more productive than you are.
This is kind of funny because there must be a lot of Mike Milans, because with me, I said, write a bio for Blaine Birch, and it just wrote that giant bio. And I'm like, well, that might be a little bit off. And write a bio for Mike Milan? Sure. Could you provide me some details about Mike Milan? Such as his professional background, achievements, interests, and other relevant information?
Can you write the bio and then tell me what it is? Well, you're more popular than me. You're more famous. That's what it's telling me.
Okay, this is hilarious. So it asked me those questions. Okay, you know what my answer was? No, just write it. Certainly. Here's a general bio for Mike Milan. So Mike Milan is a seasoned business professional known for his expertise in financial management, business development, and entrepreneurship. So it's picked up you.
It's picked up me out of all the Mike Milans. Yeah.
Now, it is a little bit more generalized. What's kind of funny is it's like, here's a general one that's actually quite specific to a single Mike Milan. But it is actually kind of a nice little bio, but it doesn't mention clear path to cash, like cash flow Mike or anything. Yeah. But actually, to his credit, I said no, just write it, and it didn't sass me back.
Okay. But there is a Mike Milan that is a psychologist or a psychiatrist or something like that. There's one that's a musician, right? So there's different industries out there, and that just tells me that on the internet, I probably have a bigger presence than those two other big Mike Milans.
Yeah, and I think it's the same with me. There are other Blaine Birches. Now, what I did do is I just wanted to jump in here and say, tell me about Fiddle Hopper. It did not. It dropped the ball here. It could be a fictional name, a coined term, or a less known colloquialism. Oh boy, that beer's getting a little heavy on me there.
But you nailed it. You snuck it in again. Man, you were beating me. If we were keeping score on Fiddle Hoppers, you'd be up like 10-2.
Oh, easily. Like, and you know what? And you just keep sticking to your knitting there, and we won't have to worry about the Fiddle Hoppers.
That's funny. All right. So
we
it doesn't know me.
Will make I'm just saying, we promise we will eventually get to making t-shirts on sticking to your knitting and Fiddle Hopper. I got to find some time because it'd be awesome.
I'm waiting on you, right? You said you got to come up with a design. Every time I come, you change it. You change every design I've ever made. You change it. You're like, it could be better.
Well, I will say I went to our website the other day because I haven't been there. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it in a little while.
It's terrible.
And there's a picture. It's pretty bad, but it's kind of funny because it's so bad. But there's a picture at the bottom of this T-shirt, and it's like our Mike and Blaine on this weird dead flesh color T-shirt. And I'm like, how did you pick that color to put on the website? Look, this is awful. So I think it's hilarious.
I just picked one. You can always change it.
I will maybe dig in and at least try like
Or I'll
a
change.
like
Or
a
I'll change.
black shirt or something anyway. It looks pretty funny. If you want to see like the world's ugliest colored shirt, just go to our website. You'll see it.
That's probably why we don't sell that many of those.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of friction there.
It's a merchandising problem. Yeah. But one of us ran a creative agency. One of us, and the guy doing the design ran a janitorial company.
Yes, I realize that. I also know that what happens when you're a designer is you can't go part way in. And so it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have to, like, you want to redo everything because it's like, well, you can ask my team. It's like, can you move that 2 pixels to the left? Like, so it's hard for me. So I really do appreciate you doing it. I don't want to bust your chops, although it was a weird color to pick.
You gotta remember that the website was like a free template, and we just says, yeah, go with it, and we put it up like in 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, you told me one day, like, I've got a website now. Like, okay, cool, and you can buy beer.
But it was never intended to be the best website in the world. It was intended to be functional so people could find the episodes because we weren't really known on Spotify or Apple or any of those type of things. Like, well, start here, right? Start here, and then you figure it out. And because I had links to Apple and Spotify and all that.
Yeah, I think we need an H1 tag at the top of our website that is exactly that, the best website in the world.
Probably right.
Just
probably right.
Get them on there.
Dude, I'm telling you. And now that it's been there for, I don't know, 3 years, we'll say. I don't know. It's probably one of the, I won't say it's the worst. I go to worse websites every day. I'm like, how does your website look like that in 2024? Mm-hmm. There's even, random ass templates of everybody. I mean, they are crazy with terrible websites still.
I've just got to check because now it's different because we're in Canada here. I do want to see, is Craigslist as ugly as it was for the first 35? Oh, it is. Oh my God. Okay.
No, they didn't change that at all. Nothing.
That is like circa.
I won't ask you what you're doing on Craigslist.
I haven't looked at it in 10 years, and I actually expected when I looked at Craigslist, because as far as I know, it's like where you buy neighborhood shit on, like, in the States. I just went to it and I'm like, it looks like something that would be on like Netscape or like Mosaic. If any of you guys remember what Mosaic is from 20 years ago, I can't believe they haven't at least like just polished up a little bit. That's pretty awful.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, the guy never tried to monetize it. Everything has been on donations. So there's no money there to improve it or make it better or, whatever. Just, it is what it is. It's a listing site.
Yeah, that we could do a whole episode on. Maybe you should just monetize it. Like, hey, send us $1 to post something, and the guy'd be a jabillionaire.
Yeah, something. He has the traffic. He had the name. He had everything about it, right? I mean, just about marketing. He had it, and he didn't monetize it. You're right. $1, maybe even it's not $1 to post. Maybe it's $10 a month to post, to have a posting account. Everybody that wants to look at it's free.
You know what's interesting is I just went to Craigslist because as far as I knew, and up in Canada here, we think Craigslist is an American, some weird site that you sell shit on. Like, I don't know much about it.
Dude, I haven't been there in years. I have no idea.
I looked at it and it actually went to a Canadian Craigslist. I had no idea that they literally have expanded to Canada because nobody up here even knows that. So they have really dropped the ball because they actually had an opportunity. And up in Canada here, most of the stuff when people are selling, their garbage, is on Kijiji. I don't even know where that's
never
from.
Heard of that.
Probably never heard of it. Everyone in Canada has. They all sell it on Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace. That's where they sell their garbage.
Facebook Marketplace. But there's so many scams on Facebook Marketplace now. I mean, I put it used to sit right there. It's a TV console. On Facebook Marketplace, I had like 10 scammers trying to offer me double what I was asking for it. And just craziness. I'm like going, dude, your profile says Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to get it. I don't know how you're going to get it because it's in my garage. I'm not delivering it.
Try selling a phone and it's all scammers. Here's a story. I have this sister that's deathly ill in like Ireland, and can you send her your phone? And I'll pray this way. Honestly, I would honestly at this point rather like throw stuff out than ever try and sell anything, because it's just brutal. But if you try and sell something, it's like, you need to have cash. You need to meet me over at the local police station in the parking lot. You have to do that, or you're just going to be 1,000 scammers.
Yeah. So I just upgraded, the iPhone from, I think I was using X. Now I got 15 because I know 16 is coming out. So they're kind of lowering the price on 15 right now because the 16 comes out in September. It's still get me $200 for it, and I've used it for 4 or 5 years, and I'm not going to. Seemed okay. Yeah. I don't need to sell you. I don't need to go sell a phone if the phone company is going to give me $200.
Oh yeah, like I think I traded in our last phones, but before that, I remember like selling a phone, the last one, and of course, it's like, no, you're not coming to my house. I'll meet you at the local Tim Hortons in the parking lot.
Yeah,
and but I know most people, or not most, the recommended way to do that now, at least in Canada, is they literally have parking spots at the police station down the road, and probably all the ones in town, where you can go and park and you can exchange your goods and then you leave, and it just keeps everybody on the up and up, Yeah,
that makes sense. But like that TV stand, I'm not taking it anywhere. If you want it, you come get it.
Oh yeah. No, if it goes anywhere, it's to the curb for the garbage man to pick it up, like, which is not the greatest thing, but it's like, I also don't want to be murdered in my house from somebody that's what's my TV set.
A couple things. I live in Texas, and I used to be a state trooper, and I was I was in the infantry and army for 16 years. I try to be careful. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not one of those fuck around and find out type of guys.
Yeah, no,
that you want to do that with, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I just try to avoid all of that altogether, because like we've been talking about, it's like you got bots, but that's the problem. The bots are created by people that are criminals, and you have people that are criminals trying to get into your site, and you have the people that are criminals trying to fleece you of your money in 1,000 different ways.
All right, so with that in mind, it is criminals that are out there doing it. There's also legitimate businesses, I hope, trying right now. They said, get 2,000 bots, and really what they're selling you is like a prompt library that does things for you. And I'm like, going, that's not really 2,000 bots. It's like a library of prompts for ChatGPT. But that's a really weird way to sell your prompt library. Right? It's saying you get all these bots. Well, you don't get bots. You get just prompts. It's telling you how to word things. I think that is the shortest lived business model I think ever, is teaching people how to write a sentence in ChatGPT.
Yeah, but you know what? There's people that know it's like, I'm going to make a pile of money in 1 month because I know how to deal with SEO. And there's a bunch of people out there that'll actually pay me for that garbage. You know what? They saw an opportunity. They're like, but it's ridiculous. It's like, it's nauseating to see that people will spend their money on that, but some will. So
yeah. So, all right. So, hey, 147. Here's what we did. We talked about our sponsors. People can sponsor beer. They can go to our website. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to challenge you to find a better crafted website that does exactly what ours does. Right? Because not only do you get every single episode of Mike and Blaine, you get merch, you can buy us a beer and sponsor the show. You don't get that anywhere else. And it's just I think, a hilarious visual when it comes down to it. There you go. So there's Mike and Blaine podcast. But look, it tells you what to do and where to do it.
If you're watching on YouTube, I am sharing the screen. So okay, here is the weirdest colored T-shirt I've ever seen in my life. It's this dead flesh color with a different dead flesh color background here.
I know. That's the closest I could get to matching the background that you made on our logo. That's
Why
the
would
closest
you
color
try
shirt.
and match that?
Because I thought it looked weird. I put a blue shirt on there, and then the stripes went away, and then it just looked weird. It was like a big box on the shirt, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, you just put it on a white T-shirt, man. Like it'll be fun.
Then you got the flesh colored box. I mean, why did you put a flesh colored box on our logo?
It's not. It's just it was a tan color with some blue behind it that looks really good on white, and it looks good on black. And it wasn't meant
Except
that,
from a T-shirt, it looks like a box.
But that logo wasn't meant the way that you used it there for the T-shirt. That was like online stuff, and you just grabbed it and put it on T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I'll grab some different. We'll make up some shirts that aren't quite so bad. Although if you look in the store, I think there's some good shirts in there with just the heads and the cool stuff and that. So go check it out. That was probably just not the best pick for a shirt.
That's also a 2-year-old decision or longer. Right. So you're kicking my ass now. 2 years later is now when I'm getting kicked. I'm like going.
I will admit I just saw it not too long ago and went, oh, what is that? So
no, you saw it back then and made fun of it back then too. Yeah, you made fun of it back then too.
Yeah, so. I probably did. Did.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you. Another good one in the books. Appreciate Pat, Mike, Jackie, Larry, Rachel, all of you guys. And Dry Run for being our sponsor today. So thank you very much. And last word from you.
Yeah, guys, remember, please subscribe, like the show, follow us. Make sure you don't miss any episodes. And you can reach out anytime. If you want to get in touch with us, actually, probably one of the best ways, just do a quick search on LinkedIn. You can find us, connect with us. We'd love to chat with you. So we will see you next week. Number 148, we're getting real close to that 150. I think we have to do like something special on 150. Be like,
all right, what do you think?
14% beers. That's what we'll do. Special for you guys. You can watch us real train wreck by the end of 150.
Hey, I'm glad this one's over. I couldn't go much longer past this one.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.